Hey, here we are, guys. Thursday's lesson right here is on value and utility. You've probably heard value much more often than you've heard the word utility. So, value, simply stated, is when there's a price tag, it tells you the value. Okay. It tells you if it's expensive or if it's cheap, and it is expressed in dollars and cents. The other thing, too, though, the concept that we need to grasp is that we are the market and we get to determine if a product succeeds or fails on whether or not we purchase it. So you're going to find out throughout econ that we are an extremely powerful tool because we can decide if a product fails or succeeds. We get to decide if an entrepreneur has to reallocate his resources and find a new product, one that works. So the market, which is the people, has the power. Okay. All right. Utility is a little bit different. And here's what you need to understand. It has to be useful and provide you satisfaction, and it's going to be different for everybody. Okay. So something might bring me utility, but it doesn't bring you utility. Flowers, for example, for me, if my husband brought me home a dozen roses, I'm going to be honest, I'd look at them and be like, oh my goodness, these things are going to die in a week because I am not a green thumb at all. And then my gift is going to be gone. I honestly would rather him buy me a pair of tennis shoes. That would give me utility because my tennis shoes are going to be useful and it's going to provide me satisfaction. Now, some of you are sitting out there going, oh my goodness, I love flowers. And that's awesome. That provides you utility. And it's different for everyone. Computer parts. My sons are big gamers. They've built their own computers. This means absolutely nothing to me. So it gives me no utility. Okay. Cars can bring people utility. And different cars can bring people utility. My husband would love a Corvette. Love it. Me, not so much. It'd be fun to ride in, totally. But not my kind of car. Gaming systems bring people utility. Is shoes, clothing. So you see my point is I'm going to reiterate it. Everybody has different utility. Okay. But it must be useful to you and provide you satisfaction. Do these have utility for you? Going to the movie theater, of course, that's different now. Does it bring you satisfaction and is it useful to you? Jewelry, right? I'm okay with my wedding ring, and I have a necklace. That's about all I need. Those definitely brought me utility. But it's different for everybody. Car parts, rims. I hear a lot about rims in cars. I also did not realize how expensive rims were. It's kind of along the lines of that. Not as expensive as a boat, but they're still expensive. Or is it technology that brings you utility? Okay. So pretty easy concepts to understand. We just need to get in the habit of using that word utility. Okay. All right. I think that's all I'm going to cover here in that lesson. Okay. Let's go on to our next one, which is right here. All right. So our big takeaways from that last one was utility and value. Okay. So we are a group of people that are highly incentivized. Okay. We like incentives. Well, what do I get out of it? Like, oh, are you going to take a grade on this? No? Okay, I'm not going to do it. Oh, you're going to take a grade on it? Okay, I'll do it. So we're all incentivized differently. Would you stop and pick up a penny if it was on the ground? Some people might, and some people are like, well, it depends on which way it's facing, right? Would you be more apt to stop and pick up a quarter? I'd be more apt to pick up the quarter, and I would pick up a quarter. I've walked past pennies, but I'm more incentivized by a quarter. How How would you act if the information wasn't on the test? Sleep in class? Or would you take notes, right? A lot of you were taking notes. Very impressed the first 4 days of class because you're incentivized by your good grades. Okay? You want to be economists. I'm certain of it, right? My employer says don't miss a day of work. Okay, seriously? What are you going to do for me? Well, my employer might say, we'll give you a $400 bonus if you don't miss a day of work. Okay. Dude, that totally incentivized me a few years ago. There were a couple of years I didn't miss a day of work because I needed the money. And $400 did that. There were other teachers here that were like, I ain't missing that. I'm going to miss work. $400 is nothing. See, we're all incentivized differently. But I love my little cash bonus. And it's human nature to be incentivized. We all want something out of it. Okay. I used to wear a Fitbit. I know this looks like totally old school, but my husband worked for an employer that had this thought process that people who walk are healthier. And so they paid me to walk because they'd rather pay me to walk than pay out insurance claims. So their thought process was walkers are healthier. That means less insurance claims. If you don't walk, then you're unhealthy and we're going to have to pay out more insurance claims. So I made about $400 a year walking. And so if you've noticed, I walk around the classroom a lot. Well, I want my steps. So I am a walker. Money incentivizes me. Absolutely. This right here is a shock watch. My son would wear this shock watch and it wakes him up in the morning because an alarm clock wasn't doing the trick. And it literally, he puts it on his arm and it shocks him awake. You can even set that watch to where you have to get up out of bed and do a certain amount of jumping jacks before it stops shocking you. Totally works. So again, we're all incentivized. They were literally, it came in the mail. I remember him and his friend, they opened it and they were practicing it on the highest setting to see who could take it the most. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. But you know what? The boy gets up now. Whew. So incentives. Do you have an incentive to go to college? Is there an incentive to be debt free? Is there an incentive to join the military? What's your incentive to go to work? Do you wear certain clothing? Is that an incentive? Is there an incentive to driving a minivan? There was for me when I was hauling around 3 kids. Not so much now. Is there an incentive to eat at Taco Bell? Sure there is. It's cheap food, right? Okay. So some of you might choose to go to college. And some of you might say, I ain't going to college. I'm going to be debt free. I'm going to enter the trades. Okay. So again, we're all incentivized differently. All right. So let's look at it historically speaking. I love this example. Okay. You've got the country, the former country of the USSR. It's a communist nation. And here's what they did. The workers' paycheck depended on the weight of glass. The more glass that they produced, the more money that they got. Okay? So this is a glass factory. We're going to pay you more if the glass weighs more. So what happened? They're incentivized by money. They want more money. They want more money. What did the glass end up looking like? It was so thick you couldn't even see through it. But what happened to their paychecks? Yeah, it totally went up, right? So they had to figure things out and change procedures. So they said, we're going to play by new rules, and the paychecks are now going to be based on the number of square meters produced. So we just want more glass produced. Okay, so what happened to the glass? They thinned it out so much, it became so fragile, it just broke. Human nature, right? We figure out how to get the most money. Crazy, right? But totally unintended consequences. The Russians probably didn't think their glass was going to look like that, and they didn't think their glass was going to look like that. Human nature, motivated by money. In class, we would say, would you save a kid who is struggling to swim in this pool? Most people say yes. But then I throw this up there and I'm like, would you save a kid there? And they're like, no. But my what if classes, they throw out all these what if scenarios. So, well, am I close to the falls or am I way back here? Do I have a life vest? And I'm like, right? But the bottom line is we're not risking our lives as much here as we would here. Okay. Here's the next one. I know this is a long video, but stay with me, okay? Take a break if you need to. Pause me. It's okay. This is the concept of, maybe I have it right here, Tinstaffel. Okay, now follow me on this. There is no such thing as a free lunch. Because in life, we're always like, oh my goodness, it's totally free. It's free. Let's go. It's free. No. I'm going to tell you now, there is no such thing as a free lunch. So let's go back to my cartoon. And he says, here's my rewards card, all filled up. I only had to drive 20 miles out of my way for 3 months, but I finally earned my complimentary sandwich. Who says there's no such thing as a free lunch? Okay, seriously, what was his cost in getting that sandwich? It cost him gas. It cost him wear and tear on his car because he had to drive 20 miles out of his way for 3 months. What was his biggest cost? Okay, so the announcements just came on. That's why I had to stop that. So my question again is, what was his biggest cost? To me, it's his time. Look at how much time he had to spend just to get that free sandwich. That free sandwich wasn't free at all. Okay. Tinstaffel. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Everything has a cost. Free Wi-Fi. Go to Starbucks, right? No, because you're going to sit there and you're probably going to buy a coffee. That was your cost. Your cost was the gas getting there. Okay. This is a cost. We talked about those at the beginning, how they're for the homeless in Muncie. Guess who pays for it? Yeah, taxpayers. Thank you. Obamacare has a cost, right? If we were in class, we'd go over Obamacare a little bit more, but the bottom line is that if people cannot afford Obamacare, other people pay for them. There's always a cost. Buy one, get one free. Hey, let's jack up the price of the first one. Boom, you get the next one free. It'll pay for it. You're paying for it, okay? So just the concept there, okay? All right, my super peeps. Your big takeaway today is Tinstaffel, incentives, value, and incentives, okay? Again, if you have any questions, holler at me and let me know if you need anything, okay? But these are big concepts that we're going to have to learn, okay?